So you had one of your players named to the MLS All-Star team today. What's your reaction to seeing Larry on the team?
Yeah, obviously always nice to see your players receive individual accolades. I think Larry will be the first to, tell everyone that it's also a team award as well, because he's not able to perform without his teammates and vice versa. He does a lot for us individually to help us perform and win games. And clearly, his production this year and the way he's been playing, it's hard to believe it's his 5th year. It seems like every year you say, well, when is the ceiling gonna be? And he's on track to have a career year. So it's great for him, and real credit to the quality of player that he is. I think this is his third time, third, fourth. I think the only time he didn't make it was when he had the ACL that year, and maybe the first year.
There was a number of injuries that were questionable. Yes, a few injuries that were questionable last week, and also Mabiala's fitness. Can you run through some of that? Is Chara going to be available for the game tomorrow?
What do you mean by available? I mean, availability for me means you're healthy, you're capable of playing 90 minutes. So that's up in the air.
And with Mabiala, same thing. Is he?
Same thing, up in the air. So I think with the exception of the guys away in international duty, I think there are 5 or 6 guys that are, I would call questionable, which means we don't know yet if they'll be available, which means we don't know if they'll be healthy and fit enough. They may be healthy, but maybe not fit enough to play. And also we have to look at, obviously, the window, Wednesday, Sunday. So we are getting closer on a few guys, but it'll be tight for this game for sure.
At least with Chara, he's a guy that could potentially come off the bench. Is he at that point? Because you were saying 90 minutes fit.
A guy can't come off the bench unless he's healthy enough to play. So
questionable. Okay.
Yeah.
Going into this game, given that now Nagbe is missing and you have a number of players that appear to be questionable, how does that kind of maybe change the approach or what you're looking at in terms of just what kind of lineup you can put out there against RSL tomorrow?
Same thing we've been dealing with every single week. We've obviously had injuries. This isn't the first week we've dealt with it. We had a lot of injuries last game, and we had one of our best performances of the year and should have won the game, dominated the game against the team at the top of the East. So it's no different than what we've been dealing with and what we deal with week after week and year after year. You look at who you have healthy, you pick what you think is the best starting 11 based on who's healthy, and then you craft a plan to win the game based on factoring in the opponent. But I think what I've really liked recently is, even though we've been banged up and had some injuries, our identity has been very clear. We've played aggressively, and in my opinion, 2 of our best performances of the year were our last 2 games. The road match, even though we didn't get 3 points against a really good team in a tough place, that was one of our best road performances of the year. When you look at complete performances and how we played and going toe-to-toe and playing aggressive, and the same thing with Chicago. So I think our identity is very clear right now, and that's what you want 20 games in. From here on out, we need to be clear, no matter who's playing, and the group is very clear with what we expect and how we want to play. And I don't think the personnel changes that, because every day we're preparing not just the 11 to play that way, but the 22, the 1 and 2 in every spot. In some cases right now we're the 3rd guy, but it is what it is, and ultimately I'm confident we'll come into this game and play well and be in a position to win. And it's time now to get 3 points and not get 1 point when we deserve to get 3. That's not good enough anymore. We got to make sure we get 3 points, and this is clearly a game that, being at home, that's the goal. But I say it all the time, it's never easy. It's never easy. RSL is full of confidence right now, and they showed their firepower, even though they've had an up and down season. They showed their firepower, scoring 6 goals against LA on the road, and they played pretty much a first choice group for 30 minutes against Man U. They looked very good in those 30 minutes.
With how up and down their season has been, what are the keys, do you think, for you guys to be able to get a result against them? And is it easy to kind of scout a team that's been so up and down?
Again, I think the most important thing is that we execute and we play the way we want to play, and we get good performances individually and collectively. We feel like if we are clear again in executing both sides of the ball the way we want to play, then we'll be in a good position regardless of who we're playing and how they're playing. Obviously, with every opponent, there are a few variations with how you can attack them, in terms of space and, certain players that you can maybe create matchups against. And then obviously defensively, there are a few things that you want to do that vary from game to game in terms of their key players and where we shape them and trap them and so on and so forth. But our overall way of playing recently has been very clear and it's been consistent, and that's the way we want it. And that's great to see. And I think our spirit's really good right now. And while we haven't won in the last 3 games, we haven't lost either in the last 3 games. And I can tell you this: the group's very confident right now. They feel good about how they're playing. They also know that we should be better, in a better position in points. So they're very realistic. That's why I like coaching this team, is they're extremely honest about the performances and where they're at. And because they're honest, I think they know we have a very good team. And last game was a very good performance and exactly the way that we want to play on both sides of the ball.
Coach, with RSL making a coaching change midway through, have you noticed any differences that they've done under Petke that they might not have done before?
Hard to say. I think you don't really see a coach's stamp completely on a team until they get some of their guys. So they get more and more, they get that they get some new pieces in. But really, when you look at honestly the last game versus LA, that was kind of the group that they played last year. For the most part. Obviously, Savarino is a new piece, a nice player. Really like him, young player, lively. But with the exception of that, and obviously started the year with a new player in Rusnak. Other than that, Mosisi and Plata, same guys, Beckerman, Mulholland. The back line for the most part is the same group. So haven't seen a ton of changes other than maybe, like I said, a couple new pieces. But when you look at that performance at LA, I think they put a marker down a little bit that last year wasn't an aberration in terms of what they achieved and how they played. And I think ultimately with that group they played, you would expect them to have good performances with that group of players because they've got a lot of quality in the personnel they have.
All good. Thank you.